Welcome to this educational series on Emacs for Writers. In this series, I'll give you everything you need to know to go from a complete Emacs neophyte to actually composing rich documents that you can export to formats that will be acceptable out in the writer's marketplace. So you don't need Microsoft Word or a Windows desktop. You can use Mac and Linux, or if you have Windows, you can use that too. The only thing I don't cover in this series is how to install Emacs, because there's a lot of different ways to do that. I will have a link below to an article on my website that will have some more information on how to install Emacs in different desktop operating systems if you haven't done so already. So let's get into the desktop here. Before we get started, I will mention that this course is based on my Emacs for Writers handbook, which you can download with a link in the description of this video if you want to follow along with the text as we go through the video series. All right, so welcome to Unit 1, Introduction to Emacs for Writing Freedom. In this first unit, we're going to explore a few key concepts, including plain text versus binary files, cross-platform compatibility, freedom from vendor lock-in, speed and simplicity, and future-proofing your text. So plain text versus binary files. When you use a conventional word processing software like Microsoft Word, for example, it saves your files in a binary file. So this basically means that the file can only be read by the application itself. So for example, Microsoft Word cannot open an Apple Pages document. Likewise, Apple Pages can't open a Microsoft Word document because they're basically speaking different languages. Though this may have changed over the years, there might be some more cross-platform compatibility. It's been many years since I've used these various word processors, so they are probably more compatible now. I would imagine many users complained about this lack of compatibility. That was why I switched to plain text on my writing journey. But when we're in the Emacs world, in the world of all text editors, you don't need to worry about compatibility with other programs because you'll be saving your writing in plain text files, also known as vanilla plain text. Plain text is basically saving just your words and characters with no additional special formatting. Special formatting in word processing documents was there because those programs were used more for printing, desktop publishing, things like that. If you've ever used plain text files, you probably have seen that they are very plain. There's nothing fancy in there. You can't change your font or insert multimedia or use italics or bolding. You can do all of that fancy stuff to create rich documents, even in plain text. And you can change your font if you want to, but we will do all that in the program itself, not in the text file. And we'll see that later in the series. But you may be asking, what is the benefit of plain text? Why not use binary files if the word processor gives me special features and a rich interface? This is where we get into the cross-platform compatibility issues. Plain text allows your document to be read in any operating system and any program. So if you decide you don't like Emacs and want to use Vim or Nano or some other text editor, you can easily switch without having to go through a lot of rigmarole. Remember, I mentioned the concept of vendor lock-in. If you use proprietary software, you get locked into that format. You cannot easily go from Scrivener to Microsoft Word or Ulysses or a dozen other writing programs because they each save your documents in different formats. This basically puts you at the mercy of the software rather than giving you the control to determine which programs work best for you. Speed and simplicity. Plain text follows a philosophy of digital minimalism. It does only one thing simply and perfectly. It just stores your text, which, as a writer, is the most important thing you have. Plain text is also fast because it doesn't have to tax your computer memory by loading anything but text. For that reason, it's easily searchable as well, so you'll never lose an idea or a snippet of golden prose. Finally, plain text is future-proof. So to demonstrate that, let me show you something that I have here. I have a copy of a plain text version of the Declaration of Independence from Project Gutenberg. Project Gutenberg is an online repository of ebooks that are in the public domain. The United States Declaration of Independence was the first e-text added to the Project Gutenberg project, and it was written in 1971, as you can see here. Release date, December 1st, 1971. But even now, in 2025, I can still open this file and edit and search it and do whatever I want with it. It's just as crisp and perfect and vital as it was in 1971, or in this case, 1776. Here's the thing to consider. I have seen binary files get corrupted and become useless. It can happen. If you take anything from this video, it should be this: that plain text is the safest, most reliable way to store and preserve your words. And if you're a writer, I would go ahead and presume that your words are very, very important to you. Even if you decide that Emacs is not for you, and you decide to keep using your word processor, I would recommend saving a plain text backup of your work regularly, because you never know when it might come in handy. That's it for this video. In the next unit, we will talk more about what Emacs is and how you can leverage its power and flexibility to do some amazing things with your text. Be sure to share this video with anyone who you think may get value out of the contents, and subscribe if you want to be notified of new videos as they arrive. Thanks for watching.